So, as Sarah said, my name is Goehrke. I am an alumna of Kenyon. Excuse me. I graduated in 2010, and I'm really excited to be here. So, thank you for having us. So, just a little bit of background about me. That's me in the white striped shirt smiling in the middle of this photo. I started taking improv classes exactly 3 years ago this month, November of 2011, in Washington, D.C. I moved there right after Kenyon. I had a job with the Travel Channel. I worked in production there. And on the side, I've always wanted to take improv classes, so I started to. And the more I did it, the more I really got into the mindset and the overall energy of the activity. So this is me performing. I'm actually thanking the audience for coming out that night. There's about 56 people. It's a black box theater right in Adams Morgan. And I live at home in Cleveland now as a freelance writer, but I'm about to move to New York City next month for an improv scholarship and a full-time job that I just got last week, so I'm really excited. So we're constantly improvising. This is Shakespeare. You guys may have heard of William Shakespeare. He said, "All the world's a stage," and that we're all performers. And I love this quote because, when I tell people, "Oh, I'm an improviser," it's one of my favorite things to do. Immediately, they're like, "That's so cool. I can never do improv. How do you do it? I hate being in front. How do you do that?" I go, and I always respond to them. I'm like, "Actually, it's what do you do every day? Like, do you get it?" And I say that. I said, "Well, what about you? Like, do you get a script every morning when you wake up?" And then they kind of like, "No," But because we are always improvising. Everything that we do, say, feel, we make up as we go along. So if you remember that on and off the stage, it's really helpful. So I put together a list of around 10 things, 13 to be exact, about things that I've learned in my 3 years of the practice that relate to on the stage and off the stage. That's really helped me as a person. So number one, always say yes. Shirt, okay. It was J. Crew. It was on sale. And it goes great with Brooke's speech, so I'm glad to go after her. Always say yes and. And this is a quote by Tina Fey. She's one of my idols. She said, "As an improviser, I always find it jarring when I meet someone in real life whose first answer is no. No, we can't do that. No, that's not in the budget. No, I will not hold your hand for $1. What kind of way is that to live?" And that really sums up the whole power of saying yes. And the "and" is really adding to the yes. So in improv on stage, yes and means to accept and add. So when someone says something on stage, you want to accept that truth and then add to it to keep the momentum. You should never negate something because that breaks the momentum on stage. And also, when you're on stage, when there's challenges, you should see, if there's a challenging scene or if there's like a mistake, which there are no mistakes, you should see those as opportunities for growth, whether it's a growth in a connection with a relationship on stage or anything. And that goes with life too. You should work with what's happening, not against it. Okay. I love this image. Get out of your comfort zone. So that circle is our comfort zone, and then outside of it is where the magic happens. And I totally agree with this. I've learned the hard and easy way that this is the reality, that it's very true reality. One of my favorite improvisers in D.C., his name is Michael Johnson, he said to me once, he said, "In order to go there, you must push yourself to get there." And I think all of us want to be where the magic happens, but we're afraid. And I think a lot of us, and I talk about fear in a little bit, but fear freezes us. But if we can just trust if we can just trust ourselves to jump over that line, beautiful, beautiful things happen. And I've been witness to that myself. And people have helped me get there. And some of them are in this audience. Number 3, be in the moment. So the best scenes that I've seen in improv are when the improvisers are mindful and present to what is happening. They are completely engrossed in the scene. And then as an audience member, you see everything on stage. You see the car that they're sitting in, and there's nothing on stage, obviously, besides people and chairs usually. And you see it unfold in front of you. And the best improvisers don't think about past scenes, they don't think about future scenes, they live in the present, and they just respond to what's in front of them. And that's the same with life, because when we ruminate about the past, we feel depressed, and then when we think about the future too much, we become anxious, which is why it's important to be right now, because the power of now is very, very, very important and very awesome. Be vulnerable. So this is a shout out to Brene Brown, who gave the TED Talk, The Power of Vulnerability, which you should all, did they show that yet today? Are they going? Anyway, sorry. It's a really amazing TED Talk, and she says, vulnerability is the birthplace of innovation, creativity, and change. And I've learned, again, on stage and off stage, that the moment that we become vulnerable and open ourselves up to those around us, whether it's an audience, a friend, or family members, we become that much closer to those around us. So if you choose to open up and let go of your inhibitions, the audience or the people that you're with will automatically establish a deeper connection with you without even realizing it. Authenticity and vulnerability are rarities, and I think if we can all work to achieve those two things and to practice those, great things would happen. Actions speak louder than words. Mark Twain, he is brilliant. So he says on showing, not telling. Don't say the old lady screamed, bring her on and let her scream. And my first improv mentor and teacher, Sean Westfall in D.C., he always preached show, don't tell. Instead of saying, I'm sad, show that you're sad through your actions. Cry on stage, do anything. Don't say it, show it. Because it's just more powerful that way. And also, with this as well, silence speaks volumes. And so, to me, some of the best scenes that I've been a part of and that I've seen are completely silent, because you can feel the energy, the body language, and that goes for life, off the stage as well. Connections will always be made. So we cannot deny certain connections in life, whether it's with someone romantic or family members, coworkers, just connections as two humans. And I think on stage and off stage, we should worry less about forcing connections and just letting them naturally and organically unfold, because it's human nature to connect with each other. So if you're just present to that, it will really help you establish those connections. Commit. Robin Williams, rest in peace, very, very sad loss. I chose, this is Peter Pan from Hook, one of my favorite movies of all time. You should all see it. And I chose Robin Williams just as this photo because to me, he embodies and embodied this idea of committing. Any movie that he's ever been in, whether it's serious or funny, he 100% committed to his character. And he's also one of the best improvisers of all time. And again, mentors and teachers have told me, when you're on stage, always give your Oscar-winning performance. Be on stage and act like you are about to win an Oscar for that scene. And he has won them. And he was brilliant. So, in life, on and off the stage, do not bail on your character, whether it's Peter Pan or your own inner character. And also, my basketball coach, I played basketball here all 4 years, and Suzanne Halfant always talked to us about what you invest is what you get back. So investing in other people around you or your own self, you will get back that. Know your audience. This is one of my favorite quotes of all time. This is from David Foster Wallace's speech, This is Water, he actually gave this at Kenyon in 2005, and I was lucky enough to be in the audience because my brother graduated in that year. So he says, and this is for Know Your Audience, he says, the really important kind of freedom involves attention, awareness, and discipline and effort, and being able to truly care about other people and to sacrifice for them over and over in myriad, petty, little, unsexy ways every day. This is a little more broad, but I just love, it really hits the nail on the head about awareness and attention. And on stage, it's really important to feel out your audience and to kind of adjust to them, whether you need to like reel it back in or put out more energy. And that goes as well for life. If you can gain control over your whereabouts, you will have more awareness and you will be a better self, I guess, be a better self. So he who hesitates is lost. This says analysis paralysis. This is a golfing term, but also just anything in life, paralysis by analysis. And this says the condition of being unable to make a decision due to the availability of too much information, which must be processed in order for the decision to be made. I used to struggle with this a lot in my life. You can ask my friends and family. I overanalyze a lot and I overthink decisions, and it's really impacted my life, especially over the past couple of years. And I found that the more that I think about things, the more I become frozen about those decisions, because obviously if we're trying to make big life decisions in terms of moving, being with someone, breaking up with someone, accepting a job, sometimes we can talk ourselves out of those decisions. And I think it's really important to not hesitate and to not overthink things, because we need to trust our inner self more. And any choice is better than no choice. And that I learned that. I trained at Second City last summer in Chicago, and Michael Gelman said that to the class: any choice is better than no choice. Follow your fears. I have an opportunity in New York City with the People's Improv Theater in the Lower East Side, and their tagline is "Follow the Fear." And this quote is from my mentor, Sean Westfall. Everyone lives in a state of fear. We can't always wonder whether it was the right decision. Sometimes you just have to take the risk. And then that says, take every chance, drop every fear. And I've really actively pursued this one in particular in this past year and a half, especially since I left DC and have been at home and now about to go to New York. I realized that fear awakens you, and fear is a indicator of what you should be doing. On stage, that nervous energy, you should be able to channel that and use it to for something beautiful. And that's also in life. Brooke talked a lot about this too. It's about following this fear and not using it as a hindrance. And if you do that, beautiful things will happen. Okay. These are two of my friends who went here. They don't know that I use this photo until right now. This is Mary Myers and Laura Harris, but they graduated from Kenyon in 2012. They played volleyball here. So make others look good. This is really important, and this is very on stage and also off stage, I believe. When you and I chose volleyball because any team sport follows this, but especially volleyball, because when you're setting up the ball, your teammate spikes it. So your teammate is the one who gets the glory, but you're the one who set. It's kind of like setting an awesome pick in basketball, and then your teammate has a sweet three-pointer, and they acknowledge you because they realize that you helped them get there. And that's just like on stage. You always want to make the ones around you look their best, because that's making you look good. And it's actually, to me, the best scenes are like giving a person on stage with me this awesome opportunity to just spike it down and to make the audience crack up. And all boats rise with the tide. So it's like, if one person can do well, everyone's going to do well. This is me when I was 5. So play. Play, obviously I've been talking about a lot of different things, and improv is an interesting thing because technically there are no rules, but there are a lot of guidelines to help make you become the best improviser you can. But when it boils down to it, it's all about play. I think, unfortunately, a lot of us forget to channel our inner 5-year-old and just to have fun, lose our inhibitions, do not care. Like, we shouldn't care what people think about us. We should just be us and use our crazy imagination that is within all of us. But I think we forget that it's there. So I've definitely not ever lost this. I still kind of smile the same, I feel like. But yes, play helps problem solving, creativity, it builds relationships. And with play comes enthusiasm. And one of my favorite quotes is, enthusiasm propels the world. So you can never have too much enthusiasm. And lastly, add to the fire. This metaphor popped up in my head because to me on stage, an improv scene is like building a fire. Everyone brings their own choices on stage, which are like the logs, twigs, and branches. And one by one, they slowly put them on into the fire pit. And then some person on stage makes a choice. And that is the spark that ignites the fire and gets the scene to actually begin. And that's when the audience is like, boom, here we are. And it's amazing to see. I've been a part of that. I've seen it. And just like in life, like all of our experiences are different, are our branches, twigs, and logs. And it's important for us, once we start building the fire, to not only maintain it, but control it. And because if we can maintain our own fire, we not only warm ourselves, but warm those around us. So thank you very much.